Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Spade and Spoon Online. Today we're going to be making Thai green curry. It's great for a family meal, good to practice your cutting skills, and we're going to be cooking chicken, which is always a good thing to know how to do. So to start off with, we're going to prepare all our ingredients. It's pretty easy to cook this dish. There is a little bit of chopping and preparation involved, but once you've got that all ready, then it's quite fast to put it all together. So the first thing I'm going to do is cut up all my aromats, so the things that will give it sort of that beautiful sort of fragrance. So I've got some garlic here, and I've already chopped up one clove. Today I'm going to be doubling my recipe. That's just so I can take it home and feed my family. To have some work perks. So with my garlic, I'm just top and tailing, which is just chopping the ends off. It makes it easier to peel the skin off. Then I'm just going to chop that up. So I'm going to be using garlic, chili, and ginger. So I have accidentally left an onion at home. If you were going to, you can add onion in. I'll tell you when you're meant to add it in, but I'm not going to add it in today because I can't be bothered going back to the shops. But yes, I'm missing a onion. So today we're not going to be making the curry paste from scratch today. You're more than welcome to if you want to look up a curry paste recipe, and I encourage you to. It is something that's probably a little bit more advanced and something I've done with the high school kids previously. But for today, we're going to use just a store-bought curry paste, and I use them too sometimes. They're absolutely fine. We're just going to sort of boost up the flavors by adding some extra things to them, okay? Spice it up a little bit. So garlic's chopped. Ginger. I think you guys have seen my little hack using the spoon because it's really good for getting into the odd shapes of the ginger. It's just like a scraping sort of action. So if I was going to make a curry paste from scratch, traditionally they would use a mortar and pestle. So I'll show you what that looks like. This is a small version. I've got a bigger one at home for curry paste, but just will be made out of stone or rock, and you got the mortar and pestle, and you would basically put all your ingredients in here, like your garlic and ginger, and you would smush them all up in your chilies until you make a paste. It's quite labor intensive, but it is fun to do that. Get all your anger out on your curry paste. If you didn't have one of these at home, you can use a food processor. It's a lot faster, and you probably get a finer sort of chop up as well. So I'm just going to chop my ginger just into little pieces, very much the same as I've done my garlic. Okay, so that's ginger. Now chili. Chili is optional. If you're a bit of a chili wimp, I'd say you could leave this step out. You can always add a little bit of fresh chili to the end if it's not spicy, or add a little bit more curry paste. We're fans of chili in this house. I've used a green, you could use a red, doesn't really matter. You're going to chop the end off. Might just move my camera down so you guys can see what I'm doing a bit better. There we go, that's better. Top and tail. I'm going to cut it using my bridge. First I might cut it in half just to make it a bit more manageable. Then using my bridge I'm going to chop it in half, and this is the way that you can get rid of the seeds. So you can use a spoon here and you can scrape out the seeds if you don't want it too spicy, because the seeds is where the heat is. I'm actually going to leave my seeds in because we like chili. Okay, but for you guys, for the first time, I'd probably recommend taking the seeds out. And I'm just going to finely slice that up. Okay, really important after you chop chili that you make sure that you wash your hands really well in some soapy water, because otherwise if you rub your face later on, you're going to know about it. It'll really hurt. Okay, and we'll chop those up. The last thing that we're going to add is lemongrass. So if you've never seen lemongrass before, it's pretty cool looking. All right, looks like this little sort of stalky thing. You can get lemongrass in a tube already ready to go, and that's probably easier if you can't find the fresh. But I wanted to show you this one. So it's really got this really beautiful smell, but we need to bruise it to kind of activate it to get that fragrance out. I'm just going to use a spoon or something heavy and smash it up a little bit. And already, oh, you can smell it. Like, I wish you could smell that. It smells delicious. So I'm going to, this is quite a hard herb to cut through. So you want a nice sharp knife, and you really want to, so you can see it's got little rings in there. You really want to finely slice that, otherwise it's not very nice to eat. Okay, so really finely slice that lemongrass, or use a lemongrass paste if you've got that. It's probably an easier option. All right, and all of these things is what you traditionally have in your curry paste, plus a few other things, but this will really improve the flavour. So you can see that I've chopped all of our aromatic things, our ginger, garlic, lemongrass and chili all chopped up there. And if you want it really fine, if you don't like chunky bits, you can go through and do sort of a rock and chop or put it into a mortar and pestle and really bash it up. All right, next up we're going to prepare our veggies. So I'm adding beans, green beans to it. So just a matter of top and tail, take the ends off, and we're just roughly chopping them in half. Okay, I'm going to leave them about that sort of size. I'm adding capsicum as well. You could add red or green, it's up to you. And I've cut mine in half using my bridge cut. And then it's just a matter of you want to take this inside sort of membrane and seeds out. So put your hands in there and rip the guts out. Then tap it upside down like this and you'll see all the seeds are coming out. It's probably the easiest way. And same thing, I'm just going to roughly chop this up. So using my bridge. And if you find it hard to work with such a long piece, make it manageable for yourself. You know, chop it in half first, okay? Work with a little bit, oops, come back, a little bit at a time. Always making sure that our hands are away, okay? So if we've got our hands up the top here, we cannot cut our fingers. So that's a good way to be cutting. Same thing, roughly chopped. Maybe chop that one in half again. And today is a chicken curry, but obviously if you're vegetarian, you can modify this. Pumpkin's really nice in curry. You could do tofu as well. But a nice pumpkin or sweet potato, something that's going to soak up the flavours would be delicious as well. All right, so that's that done, my veggies. I'm going to show you how I've chopped the chicken. Swap this over. Now you'll notice that I'm using a different coloured board because in the food tech room we use a yellow board for chicken and raw meat. At home, just check with your parents to see what you guys use. So chicken, we're using, because I've doubled the recipe, I've got 2 chicken breasts here. And I'm just going to chop it in half. And you don't want to make your pieces too small because this is we're going to brown it and then cook it for about 15-20 minutes. And if it's too small, the pieces, they're going to get dry and they won't be very nice. You could use chicken thighs as well. They tend to hold the moisture a little bit. But you'll see the size of my chicken is about sort of like that. It's 2 pieces there. I wouldn't go any smaller than that. Making sure that when we are working with raw chicken, that we make sure afterwards that we wash our hands really well and wash this knife up. So I'm actually using 2 different knives today, one for the chicken and one for everything else. All right, that's about it. So I'm going to wash my hands and then show you the next part. So other ingredients that we need today is some chicken stock. I've made up a cup of chicken stock here. It's actually veggie stock because I didn't have any chicken here, but you could use any sort of stock. You might not need all of it. You only need half in the original recipe, and sometimes it can get a little bit watery if you add too much, but I've made up 1 cup. We'll see how much we need. Got 400 mils of coconut cream. Okay. I've also got our curry paste, which we'll add in. So I've just used this brand. We need some kaffir lime leaves. So I couldn't find fresh kaffir lime, so I had to go with the jarred ones. So kaffir lime leaves go in when we add in all our liquid and stock, just half of it, and then some more to go on fresh. So kaffir lime leaves. I've also added a couple of modifications. So I'm adding in a little bit of fish sauce for the saltiness. This is absolutely optional. You could use a bit of soy too, and a squeeze of lime. Because I think that when you're cooking Asian flavors, you need to have that balance of salty, sweet. So that sweetness from the coconut cream, or sometimes you can add a little pinch of sugar as well. So you need just salt, you need sweet, and you need sour. To kind of balance the flavors. They're very typical in Asian cuisine. All right. Okay, so I've just added a little bit of oil to the pan here, and then we're going to fry. We're going to fry off our aromat. So into here, I'm going to add in our garlic, ginger, lemongrass, chili. And I'm going to add in 2 teaspoons of the curry paste. Add 2 heaped teaspoons because I like this flavour. This spitting a bit, so just be careful. Make sure you've got long sleeves on, protect yourself. And you can always turn it down a little bit as well. So we're only frying this off for 1 to 2 minutes. And you can smell it. It smells delicious. So next up, we're going to add in our chicken. And we're just going to brown it and get it all covered in the spices. And turn the heat up a little bit now because I've got so much chicken in there, taking the temperature out. Turn it up. The chicken to just seal a little bit. It's going to take about 5 minutes. Okay, so my chicken is starting to get some colour on it, a little bit brown. Chili's getting to me. Whew. And this is where you'd add your onion in and just kind of cook it for a couple of minutes until it's translucent. So I'm going to add in my liquid now. Coconut cream is in. And some chicken stock. I'll just put half and have a look. Yeah, I probably wouldn't want to add too much more liquid to this. So also into this I'm going to add in, so the recipe calls for 1 kaffir lime leaf, so I'm going to add 1 teaspoon in now, and I'll add some in fresh later, and also our veggies are going in now too. So we're going to cook this now, simmer it, so low heat's a little bubbles, so we need to turn it down a little bit more. Little bubbles for about 15 minutes until the chicken is cooked through. So what I would do is I'd get out a fat piece of chicken, chop it in half and make sure it's completely white and a little bit stringy on the inside, because then you know that it is cooked. And then it just needs its final seasoning adjustments. So lastly, we're going to just add in a little bit of fish sauce, just a little sprinkle, so it is quite strong. A little bit more of the fresh kaffir lime leaves. And a squeeze of lime. Okay, give it a mix around and give it a taste, because it's important to check the balance of flavours. You might need a little bit more lime or a little bit of sugar. That's good. It's a little bit spicy, so if you don't like spice, a little bit less curry of the curry paste and take the seeds out of the chili. But that's it. Serve it with a little bit of coriander, some rice and some bread, and you've made yourself a delicious family dinner. Bye.